Most people fail. They fail in life. They fail in business. They fail at making money. They fail in their relationships. Most people, no matter how hard they try, they don't succeed financially. Most marriages end in divorce. There is a good reason that people fail. There is a good reason that most people don't make their dreams come true. There is a good reason most people die with their music still in them. And I'm going to go into that in this video. First of all, who am I? I'm David Krueger. I am a marketing coordinator for the Trudeau Family of Companies under the umbrella of Kevin Trudeau, infomercial king, New York Times best-selling author. Kevin has been all of his life an insider, an elite insider, a member of an organization called the Brotherhood, in which he was brought in and given esoteric knowledge. What you'll find is most people, most of the most successful people in life in the top tiers of the world, they know things you don't. They are taught at the highest levels esoteric knowledge about how energy works and how the mind works. I have had the good fortune, I'll tell my whole story in a future video, to work very closely with Kevin. In fact, he and I lived together for almost 5 years, and he personally mentored me on much of this stuff. I still have a great deal to learn. My purpose with this YouTube channel is to begin to impart some of this knowledge to you. I can't give you a complete education on YouTube, but I can educate, enlighten, and inspire you to take the next steps in your journey, and there are steps you can take. So by sharing these tidbits here, I'm hoping to give you a little bit of that. So, and you'll have to forgive me, I take extensive notes before I sit down to do one of these videos, so if I refer to my paper, I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. So today's focus. Today we're going to focus on why the average person fails. Why so many of us, and maybe you watching this video can relate, why so many of us try so hard. We try so hard to make a thing work. We try so hard to launch a business. We try so hard to get out of debt. We try so hard to improve our situation. And we don't always get there. In fact, sometimes we feel like we backslide, or we feel like we're wading through a swamp in the mud, or we feel like we have a 500-pound bag of rocks on our back. In a way, we kind of do. So I'm going to go into why that is. And this video is going to be a thumbnail sketch, kind of a bird's eye view of why these things happen. We think that failure, if you're listening to, like, it's called toxic hustle culture now. All the guys like the Gary V's and the Alex Ramozis, and I like the guys like that, who are out there telling you, you just got to get out there and you got to do it and you got to hustle and you got to hustle harder and hustle harder and hustle harder. You know, if you listen to all of this, you would think it's simply a matter of laziness. Well, laziness and a lack of motivation is more than just laziness and a lack of motivation. You know, there are things keying in, and I'm going to go into that right now. There are unseen factors in our energy field and even in the DNA of our bodies that can either create success or they can create failure. You see, these elite families, like the Kennedys and like royal families around the world, their DNA, they are built different. They do believe that they are equipped to rule and that we are not. And quite frankly, in a lot of cases, they're right. The notion, at least the American notion, that everyone has equal opportunity is a bit of a fallacy. You can tell someone they have opportunity, but when they've got the deck stacked against them, when their DNA and the Samskaras are, it's an Eastern term for energetic imprint or energetic blob of energy. When these Samskaras are stuck in our field, triggering us, when we have limitations and things in our DNA holding us back, nothing seems to work. When Kevin was preparing to break away from the Brotherhood, he is no longer a part of that organization. He is no longer amongst the elites. He still has friends in that organization, but there came a time in 1999, in fact, when Kevin broke away from them due to a big difference in opinion. You know, Kevin was among a group of them that thought that their knowledge and what they had to offer should be given to the masses. Not that everyone, all of the masses would partake. In fact, most would not. But training and expansion should be made available to those who would choose it. And there were many in the Brotherhood who felt that that was not the case, that that should not be done. So as Kevin was getting ready to leave, a lot of his friends told him, Kevin, it's a nice idea, but don't bother. You can't teach a pig to sing. These people can't be helped. It's not in their nature. It's not in their DNA. And these guys were at least partially right. So how does this work with the DNA? You don't have to necessarily believe what I'm going to tell you, even though it's true. Trauma and memory, things that happen to us, are imprinted on our DNA. And they last, they go on in our heirs, 7 generations. I'll give you an example. Let's say you had a great grandmother who nearly dies from drowning, who has a real traumatic episode in the water. Now here you are, 5, 6 generations down the road, and you get deathly afraid whenever you go near a body of water. And you don't know why. It could be something literally trapped in your DNA, some fear, some trauma of water. A belief like that, by the way, could be a postulate, something that an ancestor thought. You know, maybe they thought that only evil people have money, or maybe they were swindled by a wealthy person or felt that they were taken advantage of. And only bad people make money. You only make money by being ruthless. If I make money, I'll be a bad person. You know, and this belief can be embedded below your level of awareness. And so now every time you, in your little side hustle, gets close to making some money, something just happens and it gets sabotaged. You get this close and then boom, it all falls apart and you're back to square one again. And you don't know why this keeps happening to you. It could be something in your DNA, something in your energetic field. You know, what if a great grandfather caught his wife sleeping with another man and had all of that pain and all of that trauma stuck in his DNA and his energetic field and said, I will never trust a woman again. And here you are a few generations down the road and you don't trust women. You have calamitous relationships, marriages end in divorce, and you just don't know why you're so unlucky. Why nothing seems to work for you might work for someone else. These things get embedded and they get trapped. You don't know why. Now, I've talked a little bit about DNA, about things being trapped in our DNA. Things can also be trapped in our energetic field. And I'm not going to get too deep into how the energetic field works, but there's 33 layers, 33 bands of energy in our aura or our energetic field where things can potentially get trapped. And your energetic field is something you take with you from life to life. It can also, a lot of things that happen to you in this life, perhaps in your childhood, in the first 7 years of life, perhaps a sense of abandonment or a sense of not being safe. Maybe your parents were fighting. You know, all of these things can end up, in getting embedded and create trauma. Maybe when you're a little kid, you're riding your bicycle and the neighbor's chihuahua, who's like a little savage dog, comes running around the corner, barking and bites your ankle. Now, all of a sudden, whenever you're around a dog, especially a small dog, you get panicky. Maybe you don't even remember the incident consciously, but you start getting panicky. This is a silly example. But these are how certain things can get trapped in our field. So we're coming into life. And, some of these elites, these people that are part wealthy, powerful families who seem to have all the luck, they come in even, like at 0, and they start building up. Some of us come in with all this stuff and we're like at negative 2,000. We're kind of behind the 8 ball. We're just unlucky. We almost have a black cloud over our head. And that's what happens. Compounding on that, we've got all of this stuff going on in our field. Then we start developing bad habits. We speak negatively to ourselves. We speak negatively about ourselves. We expect bad things to happen. And by virtue of, we'll call it law of attraction or manifestation, we draw more of that into our lives. And so we're in this negative downward spiral, seemingly with no way out. Now, I know that sounds pretty depressing, but that is the existence of a lot of people in this world. You know, the average, you know, Joe Lunch Bucket who's got less than $1,000 in the bank and is one paycheck away from, you know, homelessness. What do we do? How do we fix this? What's the way out? Well, the first way to go, the first thing to do, the first thing anyone needs to do is start changing their habits and their thinking and what they do. So how do we change our habits? Read the right books, listen to good audios or watch good videos, get to events, get to live events with like-minded people. Engage in I'm going to explain in future videos why each one of these things I'm saying is important. Engage in the process of giving recognition to others and receiving it from others. And to top that off, you're going to form relationships with like-minded people who are moving in the same direction as you. Now, I'm a part of an organization that Kevin created, very much in the image of organizations like the Brotherhood, that allows us to do all of those things. And what that starts to do is reduce that negative black ball of energy that your samskaras, your DNA, and your habits, everything is created, and starts to reduce that black ball of energy and create a positive ball of energy. That's huge. That's the number one thing you need to be doing. The other thing is clearing out all of these samskaras in your energetic field and clearing out the blockages in your DNA. And you're saying, David, how can you do that? It can be done. We have done it. And I'm not going to give you every link and everything you need to do and buy in this video. I'm just giving you the thumbnail sketch, the bird's eye view of how it all works. One thing I would recommend you start doing is this book read this book right here. It's called Your Wish is Your Command, and it's by Kevin. I'll put a link to the Amazon page in the video description. I'll put a link where you can get this book. That's the number one thing I would recommend you do. As we go with these videos, I'm going to give you a lot of recommendations of things that can help, things you can do, things that, you know, can kind of put you ahead. I'm going to also give you a link to something called Billionaire Brainwave. And what these are audios that you listen with headphones, and it's binaural beat, and it takes your brainwaves into an alpha up to a gamma brainwave frequency. And these brainwave frequencies are very important. We'll talk about those in future videos. Successful, wealthy people, these bloodlines who manifest quickly, are broadcasting in alpha, gamma, and delta brainwave frequencies. The average person who is worried about paying their bills is in beta brainwave frequency, which is, but the alpha is more like a wave that looks like this. And so I'm going to give you audios that you can start listening to in just a few minutes a day, like 10 minutes a day. It's going to start moving your brainwave frequency in the direction it needs to go. In conclusion, everything is possible. You can go from wherever you are to where you want to be. The question is, are you willing to do the work? Like it helps to look at life like a menu. Okay, I want this, and then over here is the price. You know, so if I want the grass-fed filet mignon, okay, it's $89. This is a really nice restaurant. So if I want to pay the $89, I get the filet mignon. Down here, if I want to get the $20 sides, I add those to my order. So I want a successful life, debt-free. I want $100,000 in the bank and $50,000 coming in every month. I need to completely change who I am, and I need to engage in all of these activities and clean up my thinking and start doing something to build a business. It's just what it is. So I'm going to start taking you on a journey on this channel. New videos every week. I'm going to try to do more than one a week, but at a bare minimum, one a week. And we're going to touch on major concepts that you need to know. And I'm going to always give you an action step, something you can do to move things forward in your life. So please, if you like this content, subscribe, hit the notification bell, give me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about. There is so much I can go into. There's absolutely just, I'm going to start rolling it out, but if there's something that you really want to hear about, please ask me in the comments. Let me know how you like the video, and I will see you on the next one. I am David Krueger, marketing coordinator with Kevin Trudeau. We've got so much more for you.